Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sarah. I'm a fourth year teacher that just recently moved from first to second grade. Today we are going to be talking about how I communicate with parents. I've spoken about this before on my other social media platforms, but this year I teach a classroom entirely of English language learners. So all of my families at home speak a different first language than English. Because of this factor, I feel like I'm taking a different approach this year. In my past years of teaching, I really utilized email and would rarely call home. This year, I feel like I utilize both, but I'm going to talk about some of the platforms that I use to contact parents besides just email and phone call. And then I'm also going to talk about some things that I use that are physical ways to respond and communicate with parents. So email is my first, most used form of communication. I will use email if I need it to go to everybody. I find that email is most effective if you need to get a hold of everybody or share something with everybody quickly and effectively. If I had to remind parents about parent-teacher conferences, I would not call every single person. That's just going to take up a lot of time. Why I might use a phone call is because of something emergent, for example, if a student comes in and tells me that they are going to be going home on a different bus or going to be parent pickup and I didn't get that information directly from the parent, I might call because that's an emergency. That's within this same day. I need to know that information. And if I email in the morning and I don't check my email to the end of the day and I don't hear a response back, then I'm frazzled and I'm panicking. While I might not use phone calls to call every single parent about parent-teacher conferences, I may use it as a tool and a resource to call a handful of parents who have not responded to my emails, because sometimes you just have parents that don't respond to email and only respond to a phone call. So pretty early on, you're able to kind of divide and see who falls into which category. So I will use a phone call if I need to reach out to a handful of parents that are not responding to email, or if there's an emergency, I need to know information that day, or if there is a more serious concern that I do not want to have be miscommunicated via email, especially with the language barrier this year. I really do not want parents to misunderstand or misinterpret what I am saying. And sometimes I feel like hearing your voice, you can have a much more friendly tone, and there's less room for error there. So those are the circumstances when I will use a phone call. When I'm not using email or phone calls, I will use a website called ClassTag. This is not sponsored. This is just what my school currently uses and utilizes. In the past, I've used Seesaw, and I loved Seesaw because you could share photos. But at my new school, we don't have a subscription for Seesaw, so I just use ClassTag. It was free to sign up as an educator. Basically, kind of like email, you can send announcements, and there's a directory, so you can send it to everybody at once. I'm not super comfortable and savvy with ClassTag yet, so I find that I'm not using it as much as I use email. I also have a lot of parents that did not sign up and link their email to ClassTag. So for now, until parent-teacher conferences, I'm not utilizing it to share important information, need to know information. I might use it for, tomorrow is bring a stuffy to school day, or things like that, whatever. Things that are not need to know, super important. Now that parent-teacher conferences are next week, after I have talked to everybody and said, have you signed up with ClassTag? Are you getting those notifications? Once I know that everybody gets them and looks at it, then I'll start utilizing it more. But I don't find it an effective way to communicate with parents about important things if not everybody has linked their email and has access to it. Next is hard copy things. Now this year I found a bunch of hard copy things that I love and I wanted to share with parents. However, I find that in this grade level at this specific school, I don't find that information coming home in folders is getting taken out of folders very often. So again, at parent-teacher conferences, it's a great opportunity to remind parents to check their folders that are being sent home so that they can see the things that I'm sending home in folders. Here are a couple things that I have been sending home in folders this year, which is just another way to communicate with parents. Again, not huge things, just little things that I think would be beneficial to receive as a parent. The first is these little notes about snack and water bottles. So I'm constantly having students forget to bring in a snack or forget to bring in their water bottle. So all I do is I write their name on it and write the date, and it just says, I forgot my water bottle today, please help me remember one tomorrow, or I forgot my snack today, please help me remember one tomorrow. I do not have time to email and call about this every single day. It's just not an effective use of my time, and it would happen too often for some children. So to fill this out and to put it in their mailbox is way quicker than sending out an email. Again, I don't find that parents are checking their folders as often as I'd like them to. They're coming back and they still have things in them. But I do know that if after I've talked to parents at parent-teacher conferences, I can mention this and say, hey, so-and-so sometimes forgets their snack. I have been utilizing these, have you seen these before in their folder? Please make sure you're checking it because sometimes important information is coming home like these. And another one I've started to use this year is my first year using it are Glow and Grow Notes. I can tag the TPT author down below. She made these and they are really wonderful. They're very bare bones, like not super overwhelming. I unfortunately can't get these translated in their home language, but my students are probably able to read this and to understand it because I go over it with them before I send it home. So Glow Notes and Grow Notes. Glow Notes, I am trying to be good and send home one Glow Note for each child this year before sending home a Grow Note, because you obviously want to start off with a positive. You write their name and the date on it, and then it says, my teacher is proud of me for, and then you can check off whatever they did, any additional information that you want to add about that experience, and then there's an option for parents to sign and date it. I haven't had any parents send it back, which is totally fine because I didn't really specify that on the note, like please send back. And I guess as a parent, if you were looking at this, you really wouldn't think like, I'm going to send this back. I do want the parents to keep it, so I'm okay with them not signing it. But I haven't had anybody email me being like, thanks for the Glow Note, like thanks for sharing that. But again, just a different group this year. In contrast, the Grow Notes are the same thing, but just sharing things that happened that were disruptive during class, like if they were being silly, refusing to do their job, being unkind, disrespectful. I haven't sent any of those home yet because nothing has stood out to me in the sense that it needed to come home yet, but I also haven't sent home Glow Notes for everybody yet, so that's why I'm holding off on those. I'm sure I'll highlight it at parent-teacher conferences. Like if you've seen one of these, awesome. If you haven't, like it will be sent home eventually. Please look at it. And again, if you get one of these, that just means that that's something we need to work on. I think too, if I were to send home a grow note, I would email the parents and say, there's something coming home in their folder. If you could just take a look at it, please, and have a conversation with them, that would be awesome. So that's something that I'm utilizing this year. Again, have never used that before. Just wanted to have something for students to feel like accountable for the positive things and accountable for the negative things. I find that actually writing something out, showing the student like, hey, I'm so proud of you for doing this today. I can't wait for you to show this to your family. Or the opposite of, hey, this was hard for us today. Your family needs to know. Please put this in your mailbox and take it home to show your family. I just feel like it's a little more meaningful. So that's why I decided to use the Glow and Grow Notes this year, and that's where I'm at with it. The last thing I was going to talk about is a monthly newsletter. I know some teachers are amazing and send home a weekly newsletter. I am just not that on top of things. So I will show you what my monthly newsletter looks like and what it includes. All right, I took off any sort of important information, but basically this is my newsletter. I share what month it is, what we're learning in each subject area, some important dates, and my teacher contact information would go down there underneath, some reminders, and then our PE schedule, because our school is on a 6-day rotation for specials. It's not the same day for each special. So I always say that it's subject to change, but this is just a little blurb I try and send out within the first week of the month so that parents have the important information, some reminders, and they get to know what we're learning about at school. And that's basically it. I mean, email, phone calls, class tag. Last year it was Seesaw. Class newsletter, and then snack and water bottle reminders, and then Glow and Grow Notes. That's basically all I do, which I know it sounds like a lot listing that, but that's what's manageable for me. If it's not manageable for you to do all or any of those things, don't feel like you need to do them. I just felt like those were some different things that I was trying this year in order to boost communication. I feel like something that I am strong at, or a strength that I have, is being able to communicate, but sometimes I don't always have the right resources or the outlet to do that in the most effective way. So challenging myself this year to try new things, to try and communicate and engage with parents and families in as much ways as possible. So I hope that was helpful. Comment down below if you have any other tips or tricks on how you communicate with your families at school. And thank you so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe, comment, and like, and let me know what you guys want to see next. Bye.